way in curbing the dealing in narcotics. They will be able to confiscate assets or any proceeds from obtained from the sale of narcotics. Our very own Wilson Kazwenje, Honorable for Nyabushozi, is spearheading that particular bill. So we want to see how it will be able to deal with some of these drug use and the money that comes off the drugs. So a bill is in the offing there. We shall be looking out for that. Now, Forum for Democratic Change Secretary General Nandala Mafabi hits back at the speakers later, stating that the appointment of Yusuf Nsibambi as the chief whip of the FDC in Parliament was lawful, and it's a back and forth situation there. Yusuf Nsibambi has already accepted that particular role, replacing Semujung as FDC chief whip. We wait to see whether the speakers later will be implemented in the FDC, or if FDC will continue to recognize Yusuf Nsibambi as their chief whip. Now, government launched the digital transformation roadmap, which is intended to show government's commitment to deliver Uganda in a tech-developed country as a modern society. That was opened by the Vice President, Her Excellency Jessica Lupo there. Then the Forum for Democratic Change is set to hold extraordinary delegates conference in this coming month. So if you remember the Forum for Democratic Change, you should be able to look out for that. Now, Uganda yesterday, the 18th of August, marked the International Youth Day in Kavare, where President Museveni was the guest of honor. And he reminded the youths to stand against sectarianism and wrong ideology. So that one happened in Kabare there, and quite a number of youths there went to commemorate that day. And I want to congratulate all the youths in Uganda for reaching on that very important day. Now, Gender Minister Betty Among appointed Patrick Ayota as the new NSSF Managing Director. This puts away Richard Byargaba there, who was the former MD, over corruption allegations. And there is a court case already. Byargaba sued the minister for reinstatement as MD. We wait to see what will happen if either way. Now, Speaker of Parliament Anita Among hosted members of Parliament in a Thanksgiving in Bukedia, where General Muhoozi Kainerugaba was the chief guest. And what is going to be a topic of discussion this morning is President Museveni's letter rebuking the World Bank on the ban of loans to Uganda, regarding them as useless, and Uganda can do without these loans. Now, with me in studio is Counsel Bwenje Deusdidi, who is a lawyer, Simwe Banjisi, member of the National Resistance Movement, businessman, but with a huge membership in the Muhoozi Project. We have new guests, Mr. Mwesigwa Jotham King, who is the speaker for Wampara District, very fast to host on the big stage, but ardent listener has been contributing away, but not the very first time on Cruise FM, I'm very certain. But we also have a guest in Tuichuche Nicholas, who is a journalist and youth leader from Barra City North. Let me start with the Honorable, since you're speaker, the Right Honorable Mwesigwa Jotham. Good morning and welcome to the big set.
Good morning, Banyaji, dear panelists, listeners. I'm called Mwesigwa Jotham King. I'm the district speaker for Wampara. I also represent speakers of Western Uganda at Uganda Local Governments Association, and also I'm also an executive member of East African Local Governments Association. I come from Mwizi. So that's where I hail from. I'm happy to be here. This is not my first time to be here.
Yes.
But I'm glad, and I want to thank the management of Cruise FM for this opportunity to share, so that we can share with our people. They also share with us.
Okay.
I wish you nice deliberations in this talk show.
Thank you, King. Welcome to the big seat. Council Wendy did it. Good morning, and how was your week?
Fine. I want to say hi to the members of the panel, and I want to say that as the members of the National Revolution for the Restoration of Uganda, NARU, we have no interest at all in the death of the FDC.
Yes.
We actually wish our friends and the comrades in the struggle to resolve their differences and ensure that the FDC does not die. especially in a multi-party dispensation.
Perhaps
like
on,
that
as,
one
on
in
on a
Uganda.
matter of interpretation of the law.
Yeah.
You saw that letter by Nandala Mafabi
Yeah.
forwarded to the speaker
Yeah.
saying they are withdrawing Semuju as their chief whip and now appointing Yusuf Nsvambi, and the speaker counters that,
Yeah.
saying that the Nandala Mafabi has no power to appoint a new chief whip.
Yeah.
Now it looks like now it's going to be into legal gymnastics of who is right and who is wrong.
I see the speaker under the law is the custodian and the interpreter of the rules of procedure of parliament. So she has all the right to refuse to accept the appointment of a member. But that discretion must be exercised in line with the law. Now, if the FDC is aggrieved, not Nandara, FDC, because Nandara is not FDC. So if FDC is aggrieved with the decision of the speaker, the FDC should sue the Attorney General of Uganda. But I think the withdrawal of the position was done in bad faith, because it seems to have been an act of revenge, not being done on merit or for the best interests of the FDC. So, and I want to hasten to advise the Secretary General of the FDC, the Honorable Nandara Mafabi, not to act on impulse and emotion, but to act on reason and the law. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Council Wenje Dels did it there, who is a lawyer and regular panelist here on the Big Set. Yes, Mr. Tuijuche Nicholas, good morning and welcome to the Big Set.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to say, to wish a very good morning to everyone who is listening in worldwide, and most especially you, the host. I'm by names of Tuijuche Nicholas, a youth leader in Barra City North, a journalist, at the same time a health worker. I'm very happy to see that I'm back here, and I would wish every panelist who is here that we do the best for our nation.
Thank you so much. There is no better way you can put it. Welcome to Tuijuche Nicholas for the very first time on the Big Set. And my very long time friend, Asimwe Banjisi Nicholas. Good morning and welcome to the Big Set.
Good morning, Banyaji. Good morning, our dear listeners. Just a quick one, Banyaji. I saw Honorable Kajwenje. Some of the punishments they are talking about when it comes to the narcotics bill, how I wish they would apply that enthusiasm
On corruption.
In dealing with corruption and embezzlement. How do you tell me that you want to sell a marijuana dealer's property when you're not thinking about these goon thugs who are stealing trillions and trillions of money year in, year out? They get them in, they get out. How I wish they could amend the corruption and embezzlement bills as well, to put in those serious punishments that can deter these people from stealing public funds. I'm Asimwe Nicholas Banjisi, and I'm happy to be back on the Big Seat. It's been a while.
All right. Welcome, Asimwe Nicholas Banjisi. You'll be able to call in on 752-912 and 780-912-910. Now, we're hitting a short bumper. When we come back, it will be our topic of discussion. Good morning.
It's tough, it's bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
If you're not tuned politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
We're back at 17 minutes past 9 o'clock here on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Good music, good friends. Good morning. My name is Wesige Banyaji, right here on Pro 12 Muti Lane off Ontari School, right on Boma Hill in the land of milk and honey in Barra cities where we are at. Be able to catch us because we are online and on air on www.cruisefm.com/stream and on all social media handles, 921.2 Cruise FM on Facebook and Instagram and 912 Cruise FM on Twitter. But also for those that love to watch the television, Cruise TV is where you can find us. The content is right there. All that is guidance of Creative Digital Media. With me in studio is Mr. Museveni'S Jotham King, who is the speaker for Rwampara District, Mr. Twijuche Nicholas, who is a journalist and youth leader in Barra City North, Council Wenje Deus did it, who is a lawyer, and Mr. Museveni'S Nicholas, who is a member of the National Resistance Movement. My name is Wesige Banyaji. Perhaps let me pick your mind really quickly on that letter by the speaker. We had Council Wenje talk about it, by the letter by the speaker to the FDC denying them an opportunity to have their own new chief whip, Yusuf Nsibambi. And now it looks like the FDC is going deeper into crisis because each new day there is something up that comes up, because now we know they plan to hold a delegates conference next month. But if at all they are blaming an underhand to kind of influence whatever is happening in the party, what if the same underhand now, the invisible hand, stops the delegates conference from happening? Then what happens, Speaker?
Thank you very much, Banyaji, my panelists and listeners. Many people are following us.
Yes.
They have sent in messages and we acknowledge that. A quick one on the letter, the response that the speaker gave to Nandara. FDC is a party with delegates. And when you're choosing a chief whip, it is now the obligation of all members, not a one-man's show. So, to me, I expected the delegates' conference to first take place. They make a decision. They either vote or choose a person to replace the chief.
But in Nandala's letter, he was very clear that the constitution of the Forum for Democratic Change has provisions upon which a working committee in fact, can sit, appoint, and pass a resolution, minutes taken, and that can be forwarded as evidence to the speaker in confinement with the constitution of the Forum for Democratic Change.
You see, Banyaji, with the current now divisions in FDC, some people belong to Katonga, some other belong to Naja Nankumbi, others now belong to NUSAF. You have, is it RUSAF? I've had council who has been a very strong supporter of the party. Now they are branching off with another party.
This council left
a long time ago.
But
so I'm trying to show you that in good faith, if you are planning to cure a certain problem, you don't now create another problem. Nandala worked under a certain pressure. And even to us, the public, you can easily judge, say, but Nandala is now fighting Semuju.
It's a personal thing, you think?
Definitely, at times you might think it is personal. And to me, maybe where I'm saying the speaker should not get also too much interested in the parties, in the partisan politics, what they are praying down there. For her, she should follow the law and what and the rules of procedure in Parliament, but now not to direct the party on how to run its show.
All right, Mr. Twijuche here.
Thank you very much, our leader. I wanted to talk about that later. You see, as the speaker was once an FDC person.
Yes.
He came out recently. Now she's the speaker.
She's still in FDC.
No, she's not.
She's a member of the National Resistance Movement.
She's now in NRA, right? Yeah. But she came from FDC. Not yet. Yes. Let me finish my. Now we are on Nandala and Simju. Recently, we saw a TV where Nandala was arguing with the with Semuju Nganda. Semuju brought out the things which were internally in FDC, the 300 billions, the what.
My
Now
question
all that
should be
one-
direct. Do you think the speaker should respect the resolution of the Forum for Democratic Change?
Yes.
All right. Let me have Asima Banjisi on FDC real quick before we get into the topic. Yes, Asima.
Yeah, Banyaji, on this one, I think the Right Honorable Speaker might be over-exercising her powers because it's improper for her to interfere in the internal politics of a party. Two, her concern was that there was no minute to back up the appointment of Council Honorable Yusufu Nsibambi. And we all know the caliber of Yusufu Nsibambi. When you go to the Law Fraternity, he's one of the best brains in this
But
country.
does it really matter? If I don't,
And no, I'm coming.
Yes.
I'm coming. And when he said that whatever was done according to the provisions of the FDC constitution, and even Nanda Ramafabi has gone ahead to produce minutes to that effect. And for your own information and for the benefit of our dear listeners, FDC's constitution has a provision whereby that working committee is actually more or less like the cabinet of the party. From time to time they can sit, make recommendations and resolutions that will be effected irrespective of whether NEC or the National Delegates Conference has taken place or not. It's the same working committee that appointed the likes of Rukwago as deputy president, the likes of these other guys who are in acting capacities in FDC. So to me, much as I know, there are issues. There are two camps, one paying allegiance to the Katonga section and Dr. K. Best J, the other one, Amriat and Nandara, and that's politics. Honestly speaking, when it comes to politics, it's a game. And someone will be happy when they thoroughly disarm their opponents. So, irrespective of the fact that ideally, as a party, I would have preferred them to resolve their issues internally. Lwakuba baganda bagamba ebyomunju tebitotorwa. All these parties, we also have our issues in NRM, but we always try to resolve them internally.
thank you, Asima Banjisi. Now to our topic of discussion, I think we just get into it. Council Bwenje.
Yes, sir.
The World Bank a while ago wrote a letter that it will not be able to sanction any loans to Uganda on the pretext of Uganda passing a law that violates human rights, and that is the Anti-Homosexuality Act.
Yes.
When I think about the decision of the World Bank saying we shall not give you any new loans because of the law that you thought was fit for you but not fit for the West or the international community. In the response by His Excellency the President, he castigated the West. In fact, he called these loans very useless. He took us back to the years where he had actually directed the Minister of Finance, Josham Mayanja Nkanji, in the 1997, directing him to, in fact, overrule some of these acts that government had gotten from the World Bank and all these other multinationals for these loans. Now, the question is, we all know here that you're atheist, you don't eat meat, you don't believe in God, you have a particular lifestyle.
Support the rights of homosexuals.
Yes, you support the rights of homosexuals. Would it be right for me to judge you and the values that you hold very dear to your lifestyle? And then I say I will only deal with you only when you choose to eat meat, only when you choose to believe in God. Do you think it was only even sensible for the World Bank to come against what Uganda has felt deemed for them?
Okay, the straight answer is yes and no. Now, you see, the World Bank is an international financial corporation. It has shareholders, 189 shareholders, and these are the members, the member states. Okay? So, it was actually the World Bank is just 2 months and 8 days older than Museveni, because both of them were born in 1944. So both of them are apparently 79 years. Now the World Bank has 5 major institutions, okay, but the most important and powerful of them is the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Now under Article 1 of the Articles of Agreement of the IBRD, there are stated 5 purposes of the bank. 5 purposes, and none of those purposes allows the bank to execute to support a state which executes homosexuals. The core values of the bank are 5: respect, teamwork, initiative, impact, and integrity. Respect for human beings of all kinds, of all forms of sexual orientation. None of those calls upon the World Bank to support countries, to give aid to countries which execute homosexuals. So it is
Council
not
Boinje.
part and parcel of the values of the World Bank.
Council Boinje, we
Yes.
know very well
Yes.
that the Gulf countries in the Gulf borrow from the World Bank.
Yes,
The Arabic countries,
yes,
they do not allow women to drive.
yes.
They don't. They have laws against homosexuality.
Yes.
But we've not seen the World Bank move to
Yes.
ban any loans to those countries.
Now you see,
Is it selective because this is
you see
Africa?
the country which has the largest shareholding in the World Bank is the US, 17.25% of the shares. See, the World Bank has a share capital of $10 billion. So now countries like Saudi Arabia, France, UK, China, US, Germany, they are the most important decision makers. Now, what we have to appreciate is that there is no loan which does not have conditions. Actually, I don't know why Museveni is saying that
No,
we get loans.
we get loans from China. And
Yes,
they
you
have
see,
no conditions.
You see,
We get loans from
Uganda
Russia.
Uganda became a member of the World Bank on the 27th of September 1963. Up to now, and Museveni has not withdrawn membership therefrom. So why and Uganda as a third world country? Are you aware that I and you, we are third world professionals? I'm a third world lawyer. I watched a documentary of
No, you can be a
Fide
first
Bongo
world.
retire.
You can be a first world lawyer
Let me
in a
say-
third world
let me
economy.
say,
Yes.
I watched a documentary of Fide Bongo retire called "The Born in Africa." A white man described him as a third world musician, not because his music was poor, but because he is a native of a third world country. So I, no matter how good a lawyer I am, I'm a third world lawyer, because the state of my country is that it is a very poor country. And you see, the mandate of the World Bank is to advance finance, to reduce poverty, and to advise on policy issues in third world countries, in poor countries.
Perhaps, Council, you've not answered my
You see?
question.
Yes.
Why aren't
I'm
those
coming.
same
I'm coming.
conditionalities placed on other countries
You see,
that have
I'm coming.
laws against homosexuality?
Yes, and I'm saying that that it either we should withdraw from the membership of the World Bank, because we have that mandate under Article 6 of the Articles of what? Of the IBRD. We have that mandate. But if you see, you cannot eat your cake and you have it. So you cannot continue to be a member of the bank and then say, I don't want their loans. If you don't want their aid, leave them. Okay? But it is hypocrisy of the highest standard for Museveni to say that he does not need, or Uganda doesn't need, funding from the World Bank. Yet we are still members. As long as we are members, we must accept their conditions, because the beggar has no choice.
Yes.
Yes. The choice we have, the choice we have is to invoke our powers under Article 6 of the agreement and withdraw our membership, because now the fact that the World Bank is starting to suspend its aid, the next thing is to suspend our membership,
which is okay.
Okay, and we also have a right to withdraw from them. So as long as we need their money, we must accept their conditions. If we do not want their conditions, we must withdraw from membership of the World Bank. Now the question is, can a third world country like Uganda afford not to be a member of the World Bank? No. Because the massive levels of corruption, especially among the Museveni family, which uses 47.7 million per hour. Now, such conditions, you have the Ministry of Health having a quarter of the budget of State House. Now, such conditions in our country cannot allow us not to be members of the World Bank. We are poor, we need money. 15 million of us are sick of HIV. We cannot afford to buy ARVs for ourselves, although Museveni and his family can afford. So these are very important questions. We are in a third world country. It is riddled by corruption and disease and hunger.
Doesn't those that run the World Bank think about the sovereignty of a state called Uganda?
Exactly.
And respecting
exactly
the laws that Ugandans deem fit through their parliament.
Exactly. Under Section 9 of Article 5 of the IBRD Constitution, the World Bank has no right to intervene in the political affairs of a state. Political affairs of a state. NUP and NRM and so forth. However, also, the World Bank has no mandate to sponsor or to fund a government whose activities are in contravention of the core values and purposes of the World Bank. So what the World Bank is doing is right. It should suspend all the aid.
Okay.
Yes,
I
and if we cannot accept their conditions, we should withdraw from the World Bank.
Okay. Yes.
Council, thank you very much for your submission. You're saying you're living in a third world country, but it is you to make it a first world country. That is one. My view on the World Bank is unfair. Because you cannot get someone's culture and you want to do your own personality to stop that person to deal with others, not that he must deal with you alone. In the inside of all what the World Bank is, what we are talking about here, it is not what we are seeing in public. One time, one of the Ugandans went to Canada. He had a mission there. When he reached there, he went to the embassy and said, "Me, I'm not going back to Uganda because I'm homosexual." It became a trick for many Ugandans to get jobs in Canada. Over 150. One of the premier for Canada came in Kenya. He moved to Uganda and said, "Why are you doing all this? It is going to lead you to lose a lot." They said, "What? You're sending people because of their dignities." But none of these Ugandans had a police letter saying that I'm being tortured by my fellow Ugandans because I'm a homosexual. If you are a homosexual, go at police, they will give you that letter.
Are you sure?
Yes, they will give it to you. Because Uganda respects
what would that letter of which use would it be?
You go there and say, "Please, I'm a homosexual, I'm being tortured at home and this and this." They will listen to you.
See, the police is
what I'm talking about is in our world, these Kamkus here, they are homosexuals whom we knew. We have been we would look at to them and say, "Man, what are you trying to do?" We would say, "This is my right." But you cannot just say, "Please, I'm going to kill you." We would see them, we would talk to them, and at least we would bring them
now
Christian values.
the World Bank is saying, even the money, because a lot of money is borrowed from the World Bank to finance the health sector.
Yes.
Upon which some of those colleagues that you're talking about benefit.
They are beneficiaries.
And now the World Bank is saying we are stopping that.
Listen, Banyaji, let me tell you this. I can't deny a health worker.
Mm.
I've dealt with those people and they have a lot of problems. A lot. Serious issues.
Mm.
I would treat them, I would give them medications, I would see them as humans, but none of them have ever been tortured. Now, World Bank is using the Uganda law as a trick to stop Uganda to get support from Russia, to get support from China.
I thought now.
This is something.
I thought now, if the World Bank stops resources from flowing to Uganda, then it will create urgency for Uganda to deal with Russia and China.
Now, what Bwenje is saying here, he said that 17% of this money is from USA. USA cannot allow you to deal with China and Russia and remain on a straight line.
But we just had 70 police officers passed out from a training in Russia. So this all loses ground.
Listen, yes, that is a small item. We are dealing on a national issue. We are not dealing with a personal issue. This is something which you can see even in your mind. Recently, President Museveni was in Russia. He was given over 50 minutes to talk. When you compile them, that one gave an alert to USA. When they saw that World Bank is getting a new president, they said this is a new target now for Uganda to deal with it. When someone is coming new, you employ new policies. Now they said Uganda is not going to get these loans. But these loans were for what? The World Bank loans, they would come to Uganda when they had policies. We want our money to be used by so and so. We want our money to be used in this one. Recently, you saw President Museveni saying that when the Minister of Agriculture got 800 million US dollars, they have been for trainings and what and what. The trainees were being set by the World Bank to take back that money. Now what is its use to us?
All right, we're stopping a little bit for a break. When we come back, I'll indulge the speak of Rampara and my friend Banjisi to get into the discussion. But don't forget to follow up on social media, 912 Cruise FM on Twitter and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. Cruise TV is where we are at, Colors of Creative Digital Media. My name is Wes Gebanyaji. Let's come back after a very short bumper.
It's tough, it's bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Welcome back. It's about 18 minutes to the top of the hour on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Good music. Great friends. Good morning. My name is Wesi Gebanyaji. We on Cruise TV. Go and watch. Everything that is happening in studio is right on there. It's seamless and in real time, so you can be able to follow that very closely. But later on in the show, you can join the conversation on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. We want to give you all the feedback, and there's no way how rather than following on our social media handles, 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook and 912 Cruise FM on Twitter. My name is Wesige Banyaji. The Big Set happens every particular Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11. What we do is sit and discuss about issues that pertain every Ugandan. This morning, we are talking about the letter by His Excellency, the President, in response to the World Bank ban of loans to Uganda. There is a lot of money that the World Bank advances to Uganda in loans and grants to deal with the different challenges within different sectors in our economy. But now this has raised a lot of dust because the background upon which the World Bank is promising its ban to Uganda is that Anti-Homosexuality Act that was assented to by His Excellency the President a while ago and is now law. And we knew that there would be ramifications for that act. It's not only the ban from the World Bank, but a lot of businesses have kept away from Uganda. So many companies have rolled up and gone back. The tourism sector is already feeling suffocated because the numbers are not spiking. And the reason is so many people that come from the West feel Uganda is unsafe. To discuss this and much more is Asimwe Banjisi, who is a member of the National Resistance Movement, Mohozi Project. Council Deusdedit Bwenje is a lawyer, and Mr. Tuishiche Nicholas, journalist. And the Right Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether you qualify for that title, but he's the Speaker for Rwampara District, Museveni'S Jotham King. Yes, he represents the people of Rwampara, Mwizi in particular. There's so many formidable people that come from Mwizi. My good friend Chwamadid. Does Chwamadid come from Mwizi? Bugamba.
Yeah, Bugamba.
But I know so
but
many.
It's Rwampara.
But it's so Rwampara. Talking about... Yes. Yes. Speak to the microphone, Council.
You see, Rwampara is so politically divided. During times of elections, people sleep in the bush. People are beaten. People don't say hi to each other up to now. So I know
council. That's now a no version.
I was on a function. I was on a function where Ngabirano was and Karahanga was, and they could not see eye to eye. It's a fact. I saw it,
and yet it is dominated by the NRM. Now,
yes, so
if it had FDC and NUP, there would be war there.
We are in Mr. Banyaji and listeners. Yes. I was carefully listening when my colleagues were submitting, especially on the response of the president to the World Bank. I want to inform the listeners that World Bank has been funding Uganda for a while. In agriculture, in health, in education, in administration, in finance. And I wanted President Museveni, with due respect, he's my president. He should not just come today and say their loans are useless. Their World Bank's
He actually put a qualifier there. He said, they are not bad per se, but... how much have they done? Yes. How much have we accomplished as a country?
Let me tell you, these loans are not bad, but the hands to which they fall are the worst ones. I want to tell you, Banyaji and listeners, that in Uganda, you have seen World Bank has been funding energy and transmission roads. They use SMID what? But I want to ask the listeners, do you have electricity at your place? Do you have water? Do you have health centers with drugs? Do we have nice schools? Do you have good schools? Do you have a serious bank in your area where you can... Yes, I'm trying to tell you. And we have been in this government for more than... Banjisi, this NRM...
It's coming to 40 years.
Where it belongs. It is coming to 40 years.
Yes.
We have been receiving this funding for more than 40 years. But up to now, there is a villager in Mwizi. There is a person in Kashari. There is someone in Sinjiro who has not seen electricity, who has not seen water, who has not seen tarmac, and is still wondering some people are even asking, but who are the beneficiaries of these loans? Now, this is where I'm coming in, saying this loan is good, but it has been falling in wrong hands. We cannot have a country where we have more than 100 and something ministers, 80 something ministers,
Yes.
with vehicles, someone with the lead car, with security. Now, we have a country where the state house, we have RDCs, deputy RDC, PISO, RISO, all those are earning, actually are
They
being
drain
paid.
the economy.
Are being paid on the money that is alone. We also have corruption, where this aid comes in the country, and a group of a few people now they swindle this money. No action is made against these people, and we think that the loan is bad. President Museveni should accept that these people have been helping us, but him and the people, yes, him and the people who are supposed to manage these loans have mismanaged them. I want to tell you, if these loans are banned or suspended, Uganda will suffer. We have been getting ARVs. We are going to suffer. Not until my friend, let me tell
Let's
you.
allow Jotham.
Yes, if we don't now change our lifestyle as Uganda, and we keep in this lifestyle we are living in, with ministers, with RDCs, with vehicles, with people eating money like what, with this workshop, you wonder, we have a Wismade.
Yes.
We have a Wismade project that needs 2 billion to work on a very short distance of a tarmac road. We have to cut our costs. And I want to tell you, as Uganda now, this is a lesson. To me, it is also very good that World Bank and its agencies are going to withdraw their support. Why I support it, now I want the country to sit and start being creative.
Yes.
Let's work on our own. We have paid taxes. Let me tell you from my childhood, Banjis has been paying taxes, but we don't see where the tax is going. Of recent, I saw someone's house in Bukedia, and I say this is World Bank's
Speaker's house, the speaker.
Yes, I say this is World Bank's money.
Okay, thank you, Jotham.
We have now to cut our costs and say
Where did you get all that money?
No, but Jotham,
Financial discipline.
but Jotham and people that think like you, if me Wesley Banyaji, the small person that I am, with my small salary of Cruise FM, I can buy land, I can take my children to school, I can live a very comfortable life. What about a Speaker of Parliament?
Actually,
who is given a budget,
Banyaji,
who gets a salary, who has all this money? They can do much more.
Banyaji, and the last time the IGG talked about lifestyle audit.
Yes.
The president came up and said, don't talk about my people of lifestyle. I want to tell you, you earn 20 millions or you earn 5 millions, but you have projects. You have a house that is even bigger than that of a president. You have a house.
But the president earns 3 million shillings.
No. Let me tell you.
Thank you, Jotham.
As I conclude,
Yes.
why I brought in this issue, we must now accept that if World Bank takes away its aid, we have to cut our costs. We have to live within our means and manage the smaller money that we have to develop our country.
Thank you, Jotham. In the letter, President Museveni spells out a lot of money that has been forwarded for borrowing from the World Bank for useless things that I can also attest to. He says 100 million shillings, Islamic Development Bank for Poverty Reduction. What does that mean? If it is technical schools, it should go to education. He talks about he rejected $200 million for fiscal transfers and fiscal management. Do you need a loan in order to learn how to transfer money? You know, the president has been able to bolt out so much money that has been ridiculously borrowed from the World Bank for no value rather than perpetuating corruption. Asimwe Banjisi, I certainly concur with His Excellency the President. We should forsake loans from the World Bank. Asimwe.
Thank you, Vanyaji, and our dear listeners. Truth be told, and I appreciate the fact that Not all monies from the World Bank has been bad money. But when you look at the benefits on the ground and a good chunk of that money, a lot of it literally goes to waste. When you get funding from the World Bank, they set the terms and conditions. If it's, say, a loan facility of $100 million, you'll find 80% going into seminars, trainings, workshops, vehicles, laptops, and the 20% is
20% goes for the real work.
fast forward. I would love us to know what World Bank Group is. Council Wenje gave he only spoke about only one arm, IBRD. But there are five. That's why it's World Bank Group. There is the International Development Association, the International Finance Corporation, multilateral investment guarantee agents that looks into the credibility of a country when it comes to borrowing, your credit rating, where you lie. And then finally, the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. A few years back, we benefited from this when we had issues with Taro paying about 400 something million pounds in capital gain taxes when they were forfeiting their interests in our oil region, Alberta region, selling off their interest to Sinok and I think Total. So, ideally, the whole objectives, the paperwork, it's all good, but we all know the World Bank Group, it's an imperialist tool that they use to advance their neocolonialism agenda here in Africa.
Why haven't you...
Listen, let's go step by step. And when you look at the history of our country, when His Excellency had just captured power in 1986, our economy was in shambles. We literally had no economy. Listen, and when we are trying to process funding from the World Bank, they gave us conditions. Sell off national assets, the ones that were in national enterprises, the ones that were in the hands of government, and all those other things. Here the issue has nothing to do with the anti-homosexuality bill. Because it's on record, over 68 countries world over have worse anti-homosexuality laws than Uganda. On the African continent, there are over 22 other countries that have worse anti-homosexuality laws than Uganda. Why is it that Uganda solely has been handpicked? You people wake up. This has to do with the current trend of politics in Uganda. Because His Excellency, in his wisdom, has had enough of these guys. They make you beg and also dictate on how you will spend their aid. Someone contributing towards you putting up a house and he wants to dictate which bedroom you should sleep in as the head of the family. So, this whole thing has to do with Uganda shifting, realigning our interests with the East, Russia, China, which I absolutely support. Case in point, these guys will never give us money, the equipment, to do the value addition that we need, say in the coffee sector. And you find a country like Germany earning more money than all the African countries that do produce coffee. Why? They just buy our coffee beans, do value addition, sell us Africans and globally the finished products. When you request for such, when you talk of our minerals, they never want us to have, say, factories to process our copper, our cobalt, our iron ore in Chigezi region into a finished product for export. They want it raw because it will be cheap and they will resell it to us at exorbitant fees. Listen, that's how they survive. So, our dear listeners, this is a necessary evil. Let us realign our interests as a country. You are talking about the money that we are losing in corruption. We can, now it's time they will wake up and realize the money we've been playing around with is no more. The government has to be frugal. If it means reducing on the number of MPs, these political positions, when you look at the administration cost of our country, what are our priorities as a country right now? It's what matters. The money that we have here in Uganda is not a poor country. It has never been, and it will never be. It's a question of realigning our priorities, our interests, and having financial discipline from top to bottom. That's my take, Banyaji. On this one, His Excellency is absolutely right. Let me try to put this in context. Banyaji,
let's wake up in the second hour.
Here.
Yes.
In reality, look at the USMAID funded projects in Mbara State. The one that Multiplex is currently working on is 2.3 kilometers at a cost of 22 point something billion Ugandan shillings. Literally meaning each kilometer is costing over 10 billion Ugandan shillings. Here, the presidential city road projects, the ones that he put in his money, they worked on 24 point something.
Let's link up in the second hour
at a cost of 34 billion Ugandan
shillings. Let's link up.
Was Ugandan money.
Let's link up in the second. Let's link up in the second hour of the show.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
We're back. Asuma Bondesian Council Wenjo. We are back. It's a minute past 10 o'clock here on Western Ughanda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music. Good friends. Plot 12, Mutilane, right opposite Ntare School is where you are. So if at all you have a business, and you want to scale up real good, you must come. And we do business. Contact us. You'll be able to get the mileage that you need for your business. So get well reception. If at all you have a new business or existing business, or you want to promote your business, or something that you want to do about your business, or anything that you think is important for the listeners to know and people out there to understand, use the airwaves, and we have the very discounted airtime for you that you can take opportunity of that. The Big City Zone. My name is Wes Gebanyaji. We are on air and online on www.cruisefm.com/stream, but also on our social media handles, where I put a question on our topic of discussion. I want you to have a lot of feedback. Give me what you think about the World Bank's ban on the loans to Uganda, but also the response of His Excellency the President to the lifeline of the show. The telephone calls, you can be able to call me on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. With me in studio is Mr. Museveni'S King. We've chosen not to give him Right Honorable for it to have it to only the Speaker of Parliament. He's the Speaker for Wampara District, Mr. Tuishishe Nicholas, who is a journalist and youth leader in Barra City North. Council Wenje Daus did it, who is a lawyer and regular panelist here on the Big Set, and Mr. Simwe Nicholas Banjisi, who is a member of the National Resistance Movement. But he has a lot of interest in Mohozi Kinergaba projects. My people in Makan Singh are listening in. Joshua, Kagahi, Nkunzi, Habat, and a lot of my carpenters there. They're saying it's loud and clear. The Big City Zone, I want to thank you very much. I have a brother who is listening in, Maurice Mujurizi, who is saying the World Bank is an imperialism tool of the West to impose their neo-colonialism agenda. So he says he agrees to a large extent of that. Keep the conversation going on our social media. On Facebook, I'll be able to read some of your messages. But for now, let me get to pick some of the calls on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The Big Set.
Council brother.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing? This is from Kadibani, Muhereza.
Yeah, Mr. Muhereza.
Yes, good to hear from you, my friend.
Good to hear from you, my man.
Yes, President Museveni responded to the World Bank ban on loans to Uganda. What do you think about it?
So you said, Mr. Braga, so about this Uganda World Bank, we Uganda, we can sustain ourselves. Like we have our minerals.
We have our oil.
You?
We have our oil.
Yes, we have our oil. We mine our salt there in our lake.
We have Lake Katwe as our salt.
Those things we can sell them and sustain ourselves rather than going into those homosexualities that we need that money from World Bank.
Thank you so much, Mohedas.
And the next thing, Braga,
yes,
is that I'm there at LOC1 chairman.
Where?
There in our village.
In Katibani?
Yes.
Yes.
So I want those people of our village to come and elect me for chairman LOC1.
Nokshashura kakarago seweza karago nokushashura on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The Big Set.
My favorite presenter, Wes Gebanyaji.
Yes,
the Big City.
Yes, Agaba, good to hear from you, my friend.
Me too, man.
Yes.
You know, I don't know where Evangelist has been.
Yeah, he has been ailing, he has been sick. I've gotten him out of bed rest.
You know, if Evangelist hear what I'm going to say. These rats which are pregnant, they shouldn't feel sympathy to them. Now, Evangelist is almost giving birth, but really, Evangelist, we don't know how prayers we shall send to you. But you need to feel sympathy to our we Ugandans who are Kacheri, who don't go around the MK and looking for what to eat. You should always know that we Ugandans, and by the way, Banyaji, that's the reason why we hate NRM. Because if you can hear how Vanjis is now painting NRM, really. But for that council, those big up. May God grant you so many years.
This man does not believe in God. This man says God does not exist. What are those blessings for? On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set. Yes, please. Thank you so much for listening again.
But you see, those Muhozi things, totally people will achieve nothing.
You badly want to talk about Muhozi, yeah? Yes.
Raba.
Yeah.
The Nalo side design in town Kampala. Hey, what we mean to give up for?
Bani.
Who's that? Bano abatambulira ko kati narabyo kagondo ka mu Facebook. Nenda bako Muhozi ate ne binyiza nnyo.
Okay, kale ebali. On 752-912-912-780-912-91. So get us feedback. What can Uganda do as a country to first of all mitigate the effects of that bill, of that act? Because we know so many of the investors here that are running away, those that are, staying away because of this act. What should Uganda do? Should we forsake our values for money, or we should suffer locally and deal with it? The big set.
Yes, good morning, Banjaji.
Yes, Banjaji is hearing you, but I'm called Banyaji.
Hey, Banyaji.
Yes.
Of course, I knew. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Council Banjis and Council Wenje. This is Tim Raymond. However, I would like to start from where Mr. Banjis said this is a wake-up call for those who have been eating to wake up and realize that... hello?
We can hear you very correctly.
Yes, to wake up and utilize the little we have. Not really. The people really from the start now are going to embark on our land, are going to embark on human trafficking and every kind of evil. Don't think they are going to rest.
Oh, okay.
This was a message to them from the president.
Oh, okay, thank you. Let me end with this particular call now before I get back to the panel. Good morning.
Good morning, Cruise FM.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Richard calling in from Chiburara in Shongori, Rwanda.
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, I'm saying, I think the World Bank cutting off the loan, it might be a boomerang hit. Because every person, every country is realizing that any aid, any loan from the World Bank or from any Western country, it comes with the consequences. Take an example in Niger. Hello?
We are hearing you.
Yes, take an example in Niger. They are giving them a loan, but France decided to cut off the loan because the soldiers were taking off the puppets. In Uganda, for example, you can see they are taking off the loan because MPs and Ugandans say no to homosexuality. So I think the only solution what they should do, African states and African countries should realize that it's time to end all that kind of imperialism around Africa.
All right, thank you. I'll get back to Facebook. Those that are sending us messages, I'm going to be able to read some of them, but I want to appreciate you so much for those that are listening again in Riantonde, in Rakai, in Masaka, in Soro, in Ibanda, in Chiruhura, all these places. But those that are listening in online, all over the world, I want to say thank you so much. You keep us doing this all the time, and we're definitely doing our best to make sure that we give you the best news, best information, all that in the spirit of great music, great friends. Now on Facebook, Robert Babiha, who is saying, the question we put on what you think about the president's response to the World Bank. Robert Babiha is saying, I'm happy because Ugandans are going to think hard and come out of begging theory all the time. It's high time that we face the reality. You're listening again from Abu Dhabi. Ivan Palvob UG, you're saying, thank you for the show. You're in Uganda. You're saying, I think the president was more than being correct. He showed consistency and persistency for signing the law. Golden Collins, you're saying, I think Museveni is trying to comfort Ugandans so that they may not get worried. But people have people who have studied economics know that this country, Uganda, with escalating high levels of corruption, cannot maintain them without aid. Just give them time, the economy is going to be more complicated. Elias Mujuche, you're saying he was correct because he will keeping on kneeling for the World Bank. Enzo, you're in Ibanda, you're saying thank you for the show, we appreciate you, thank you for following up. Chris and Saja in Isenjiro, you're saying Africa has fertile soils to feed, Africa has fertile soils to feed Europe, Asia and America, but the problem of Africans are the leaders, like put it. On that side issue, Uganda should just work hard. Thank you for that message. Chance Junior, I see you. Chizo Patrick is saying thanks for the show. You're in Buchiro. Kashari, thank you. Matthias Major, big time contributor. You're saying Amor is on as usual. Thank you. It is high time we embrace the little we have. Though the loans from the World Bank have been busting our economy, but if the strings attached on them are to finish our culture, then we better remain with the little we have and focus on being disciplined and how to utilize them. Our brothers and sisters in government let us down because of corruption. Let us, I think, thank you. Listen again from Makenke. Thank you so much, Matthias Major. Orisha Marcel, I see you. It says, you say this shows Museveni is already an ally of the East, not the West. I'll get back to some of your messages. On Cruise TV, Namara Patson, you're watching from Ibanda. Kwapi Salum, you're watching in from Mpambazi Primary School. Nuamanya Godfrey Ibanda, Biargaba Isaac, you're watching from Easy View. Ivan Biarhanga, you're saying you're watching from Kampala. Tumtejereze Misal, you're watching Asingure Ben, you're watching all the way. Ahabwa Felix, you're watching from Kampala. Alvaro Bruno, you're in Chigali. The Chigali of Rampara. Do you have Chigali in Rampara? Okay. Andrew Kamjsha, you're in Ibanda. Rubega Anthony, you're watching on Crew TV in Kabingo, Isintro. And Tukamhabwa Darius, you're sending all the respect for the show and want to appreciate you very much. Duncan Mpamize, the only solution during this situation is to reduce salaries of MPs. You're watching from Kokonjero. And thank you so much for all the contribution. Keep watching on Cruise TV. Let me get back to the panel. Yes, Mr. Mwesigo.
Thank you, Banyaja. I've had the messages and all who are listening in. There is a quote I wanted to first begin with, and the president also alluded to it, that they left undone what they ought to have done, and did that they ought not to have done, and there is no truth in them. I don't know how you interpret that, but even on the front page of the president, it's what is there. Bakasijisobwa ebare bakaremwa kukora ebaye bashemere kukora bakoreba batashemere kukora mwene murubo tarumuki tarumukarungi kona. I want to tell you, with this money that we have been receiving from World Bank, there are some things we should have done with this money. By this time,
but in my own interpretation, it's as if the president is saying the World Bank is leaving what it ought to do.
Actually,
and indulging into things that are really none of its business.
Actually, this also applies now to us, that what we are supposed to do, we didn't do. No, they have been giving us aid for more than 40 years. We have aid which had. It is okay. Have you used that money? Banyaji,
yes.
Banyaji, we were supposed to use this money in the right way. We didn't. Now that it is going, we are crying. Secondly, I wanted to tell you, Banyaji.
Let's give Jotham the platform. Yes.
And listeners, Uganda killed its institutions. Today I'm seeing people crying of homosexuals. We failed to invest in culture. This issue of the homosexual wouldn't be even a problem if we had invested in culture, and like Ankwere Kingdom is there. Yes. No. Listen. You see. Let me.
But what are you doing here, Daddy?
No. Kansobwenje, let me tell you.
Yes.
We wanted to live like Westerners.
Yes.
And we forgot about our culture. Ntwenda to living in Kabajungu. Now they have said, okay, now that you are like us, do what we do. But let me tell you why this thing is coming. We lived like Americans, but we don't want to practice what Americans are practicing. Actually, for them, they have seen us driving the same vehicles, putting on the same minis with them, our lifestyle, speaking English, and they thought also bringing this Bisiaga would also be okay with us. Now we are in shock. Because they say, how can a man sleep with another man? To them it is okay. Now we are saying we need now to go back. We need to go back to our cultural values. We tell people that if a man sleeps with a man, that is, Abasalam call it what? Haram. That is haram. And the child goes up knowing that a man will never sleep with a man and a woman will never sleep with a man.
But you
this
see,
does not even need legislation.
It does not even need teaching children that men and men do not have relations.
It does not even need legislation as long as people grow up with values. Now, for us Ugandans, we have forgotten that we still have our cultural values. We need to cherish them and come back to them. Lastly, Banyaji, when World Bank takes away its help, its aid, there are some things we need to do as a country. We cannot have the ministries, departments, and agencies doing the same thing. Ministry of Transport there is Road Fund. There is UNRA. They are all doing the same thing with different. Different, and we have to merge.
You have KCCA in Kampala.
Then Minister of Minister of Kampala. We have to merge these departments. KCCA. I mean,
what you're saying now.
Yes.
It is. This is a wake-up call.
Yes.
For especially those that manage the affairs of this country.
Yes.
We go back to living a frugal lifestyle as Ugandans.
Yes. Now we get Minister of Transport and what?
And we merge them.
We have a Minister of Agriculture. There is NADS. There is OWC. There is NARO.
There is OPF.
We all get all these, and we call it one
Thank you,
ministry.
Jotham.
That's how we shall live in this country and successful.
Yes, Nicholas.
Thank you very much. I'm seeing Jonathan.
Jotham
is
actually.
Yes, he's trying to say that World Bank should stay here because he has been a speaker for some few years and he has not yet ate on this money. That's why he's crying that this money remain here so that they bring it in Mwizi. He eats on it. That's when he will see its impact on the ground.
I need roads. I need tarmac road. I need hospitals. I need good schools. That's what I need.
That's why you're crying
for the last 40 years.
But before you run for the World Bank, I would like to bring knowledge to my brother that it is better you first work on that money which you're getting on Matoke, the what which are coming from Mwizi, the local revenue. You first fight that corruption which we are seeing on the Mwizi roads before you cry for the World Bank. For us, we are going with President Museveni's statement that it is nothing to us. Reason being, if I myself, I pay a local revenue for over 2 million, and I'm not seeing its impact on ground.
Is it enough?
It is enough. If me I can pay 2 million, you pay, he's paying, but I'm not seeing it, right? I'm talking on a personal level. Yes, on my earnings. Now, if they are telling me that they are getting loans from World Bank, surely I'm not seeing the World Bank impact on the grounds of
Who is to blame now?
It is the government.
All right, let's
personally. Now, when they bring that local revenue to you, the speakers, do you use that money in the safest way before you're crying for the World Bank money?
Thank you so much, Nicholas, for that. You can be able to eavesdrop on the show on www.cruisefm.com/music, please. Music.
FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
We're back, almost heading for the final lap of the show, but I want to appreciate you very much for holding up real good, all the way from where we started the show at 9 a.m. up to where we at. My name is Wesige Banyaji. The Big City is on, and it happens every particular Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 11, where we sit and talk about issues as such as this: World Bank slapping a ban on Uganda, getting loans from the World Bank. The president had the honors to respond through a 28-page letter to the Bazukulu, and he explained, gave us a brief history from where he has brought the country up to where it's reached, but also how useless some of these loans have been, because he spelled out how government was borrowing to even teach people how to do the basics. So on this, I think we should concur with His Excellency the President. This has been long overdue. The financial management of our country, the president went ahead and even spelled out projects where the World Bank had committed funding and withdrew at the last minute, and it's been funded by taxpayers of Uganda, and want to appreciate those that make effort to serve this country in the best way that they can. Let me get to Facebook. Badam Wineham, you're saying thank you for the show. I think this decision is right, because we need to keep independence in our hands and our rights as a country. Uganda is an independent nation. It's time to create ways of surviving without aid of the World Bank. It may take us some time to settle without aid, but we shall survive. And with the little that we have, we plan for it. Ahumza Solomon, you're listening to the show. I want to appreciate you. To Yamre Bambros, you're saying thank you for the show. I'm listening again from Bushwere Mwizi. Your people are catching the show so much. Odishaba Marcel, you're always on, and a couple of you that are really on. I want to appreciate you very much. I would like to give you an opportunity to call in and make your voice be put on record as far as this is concerned. With me in studio is Mwesugwa Jotham King, the Speaker of Rwampara District, Tishuche Nicholas, journalist and youth leader, Mbara City North, Council Bwenje, Daus Deret, who is a lawyer, and Nicholas Vanges, you are seeing with NRM member. Let me hear your final remarks on this particular topic before I engage another chair on what happened in Bokedia, and we call it a wrap.
Yeah, I want, okay, before we start, I think I request that if you are speaking about him or to him, you should call him at least honorable.
Honorable Speaker.
He's an elected person.
Yes, honorable Speaker.
Mandate of the people.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm honored to have you this morning.
That is the least amount of respect that you can give him.
Indeed, much obliged.
Yeah, so
not even a councillor can be honorable.
Yes. Speaker, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what Museveni is doing, he's a man who's caught up and trapped up in anger. His country and himself especially have benefited from World Bank loans and aid. But I think it is high time that Uganda knew that no country can prosper on the dependence on loans. What we should do is to increase our tax base, our ability to collect taxes from those bases, and use our taxes, not to hide under loans. So, and you see, it is right for the World Bank to withdraw its funding for a country whose intentions and actions are to execute homosexuals. Because the
how many homosexuals have you had executed in this republic?
No. You see, the law is there. The law is in force. The law is so the fact that, for example, Ugandan law provides for the death penalty, that means that death by hanging is possible. It is possible because the law provides for it. So where you have maximum sentences of death for a convicted homosexual.
Where that Susan Chugula case settled that long time ago?
What?
Where the Supreme Court made a decision
on
that it is unlawful to actually execute a person even when the death penalty still exists in our statute books.
No. Of course, as a lawyer,
yes.
Constitutional Appeal number 3 of 2006, the Supreme Court held that the death penalty is constitutional and lawful. Yes.
Okay.
Because the Constitution and Article 22 has not been amended. A right to life is not one of the non-derogable rights. So you can be executed upon confirmation by the highest land, by the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Except that being on death row for an unknown period of time amounts to torture. Therefore, if you are going to be executed, the president has to sign the warrant of death within 3 years. Beyond that, no execution.
All right.
So the death penalty, it is actually what was rendered unconstitutional are the mandatory sentences of death.
So the discretion is for the judicial officers.
For the rarest of the rare instances. You kill a police officer on duty and so forth. So we the where you have a law where a convicted homosexual is liable to suffer death in aggravated homosexuality. Now that law does not rhyme with the values and purposes of the World Bank. And the World Bank has the right to withdraw funding and even to withdraw membership of Uganda. So Museveni should know that if he does not want their money, then Uganda should withdraw from the membership of the World Bank, or else we should stay as members and accept their conditions.
All right, thank you. Honorable Mwesugwa, your final mark on the same.
Thank you, and our listeners. Uganda as a country, I wanted to inform members that we are now focused on World Bank loans. We have several other loans from even individuals from Uganda.
That are lending government.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true in domestic lending.
We still have money lenders. We have countries that have also given us loans. So don't just focus on World Bank loans. But as I conclude, for me, I don't support homosexuality. But if World Bank is to take its aid, Uganda, we have to sit and live within our means.
All right, thank you. Yes, Mr. Tuichuche.
Thank you very much.
In a second, really.
Yes, I would like to inform Ugandans that Uganda was once a lender in the whole world because it helped Singapore and UAE to develop one day, one time through Busoga Cooperative Union. And right now, since independence, I'm seeing Uganda is going down because of World Bank loans. You see, when you have a child at home and you keep babysitting that child end up being a dormant kid. It is time for Ugandans to wake up and we use what we have and we get what we don't have and we lend these people the money, not us to beg.
All right.
It's a 10:30 a.m. Your local time check. Oh, no, yes.
On the final lap of the show, about 18 minutes to the top of the hour. Thank you so much for those that are still on the show. We appreciate you very much. My name is Wesige Banyaji. Mukamat Kwasa Levis, you're on, and I want to say thank you so much. Mariamin Makan Singh, you always listen to the bill on Saturday. You give me that information when I'm out of here, but I want to thank every person that is glued on their radio catching it. And we thank those that have made time to call and, send messages. You're the MVPs this morning. Now, into another kind of topic before we get out of here. Muhoozi Kainerugaba General, the first son of the president, made a tour of Teso sub-region where he made an appearance at a gathering in Bukedia on the invitation of the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among. Just to give you information, Muhoozi Kainerugaba is still a serving UPDF general, but also doubles as the president's presidential advisor on special operations there. So we saw a mammoth crowd. He addressed it. The members of parliament had a photo moment with him, individual, and shaking his hands. I want to know what the panel thinks about those particular occurrences. Council Wenja, I will start with you, because each time you make an appearance here, you need to you remind the UPDF and the general himself of the illegality of the same.
General.
Yes.
Actually, to immediately arrest General Muhoozi Kainerugaba.
But what are the terms of reference for being a presidential advisor on special operations? Some of those
the terms are wide.
The
terms are wide.
Yeah, the terms are wide. And even making an appearance, perhaps addressing the people of Bukedia.
Where the problem is that he engages in political discussions. So there's a conflict between him as a special presidential advisor and a serving soldier. So he's caught up in a conflict of interest. And of course, we all know that the Muhoozi project is intended to sensitize and fertilize the minds of the people that Muhoozi is a potential president of the Republic of Uganda.
What stops him?
Nothing. Under Article 102 of the Constitution, actually, among the 10 requirements or the 10 qualifications of a presidential candidate, I'm only aware of one, and which is that he's a person of sound mind, because under the penal code he has the presumption of sanity. So I cannot call him insane. But for all other requirements, academic requirements, whether he's a Ugandan, I'm not sure of them. Okay, because I've never seen his national ID. I don't know if he has an S6 certificate. I don't know. But I know that he's a person of sound mind. Now, the unfortunate thing is that almost all elected leaders and even the soldiers and the public officers are trapped there. Yesterday, I saw President Museveni walking in an upright coffin.
No, it was a bulletproof
That's what I
glass.
mean. That's what I mean. See, when you start being apprehensive of
but
life,
leaders worldwide are apprehensive.
and it's because of what they do. It's because of what they do.
Is, how apprehensive is the Pope who moves in a
Pope,
bulletproof glass?
A Pope is the president of the world's smallest nation and the head of the world's richest organization, that is the Catholic Church. All right? So he has all the reasons to be in danger.
But even the president,
with
the terror attacks on Uganda,
remember,
and the threat, the level of the threat to the office of the president and the person of the president, perhaps he needs that security.
Unlike the Pope, who is appointed, all right, by a specific section of church leaders, Museveni is elected by people whom he should not fear, unless either he's afraid of his son assassinating him, and that's a very possibility.
Yes, there is an intelligence system in this country.
Yes,
there is a security apparatus that runs the office of the president, the protection of the president.
Yes, and he has a
if
right
at all they assess the risk to the life of the president and they put up measures, what's wrong with that?
Nothing is wrong with that, but it is an indicator that if our president is in fear of his life, then even us, we must be in fear of our lives.
Maybe
because a country whose president is in danger is itself a country in danger. So I want to kind of say that the Muhoozi project, and I don't want to say that it is a project to facilitate or to fast track the interests of the Bahima Tusi dynasty, although that is also a possibility. But what we should also be mindful of that we are slowly turning into a monarchy.
No,
and
but
with that is going to come the days of elections. It is going to be the bullet versus the ballot.
But Council Bwenje, I think sane Ugandans are bored with that whole narrative of monarchism when we know the rights that I have
Exactly.
to stand for president of this country are the
exactly.
same equal rights General Muhoozi has.
Exactly.
I can tell you,
Yes.
my father, having
Yes.
served in the forces of this country, I
Yeah.
could have chosen to be recruited into either the military or the police force and serve what my father had served. What is wrong with Muhoozi Kainerugaba having an admiration of his father and wanting to step into his shoes? What's wrong with that?
See, I said constitutionally, he might have all the requirements, and nothing stops him from what?
Yes.
Now the problem comes in: does every other candidate enjoy the same rights as he will do
perhaps,
having?
that would
You
be
see,
that.
so he's a serving soldier.
Yes.
Standing or benefiting from the military machinery protecting him when he's canvassing for political support.
But you
now,
should
that's
remember,
why the question is,
you should remember he's the first son. And the Constitution definitely guarantees him protection as the first son.
yeah, but not to look for votes.
All right.
Not to look for votes.
Let me engage Honorable
Okay.
Mwesigwa Jotham
Right.
here on the elements of Muhoozi Kainerugaba. On what you saw, me, I was okay with everything until I saw a line of members of parliament greeting General Muhoozi and taking pictures. I had accepted the rest, but that caught me off guard. What do you think?
Wanyaji and my fellow panelists, in a country where the law sometimes is bent, those things happen. What happened in Bukedia it has a very big meaning, especially to Ugandans. That some animals are more equal than others. No. I want to tell you, today, if Deus Dedit wanted to go to Kabare to talk to people, he would beat Yagas to the end. Now, this is where we are saying, if Muhoozi can access people, let any other candidate who wants to contest also enjoy the same. That's where actually let me tell you where
for you that's your divergence.
Yes, I'm saying then for the members of parliament to line up to greet Muhoozi, it is their
right.
It's their right. It is their choice. I think some people have never gotten a chance to stand with the first son, but it is also also ridiculous. You put yourself down. I saw people lining up for there are very many, over 500 and something. So at some point Muhoozi got tired and he was just putting there the hand when he was looking somewhere aside. Then on the last one on president, when he was in Kabale, I saw him driving in a glassed, I think it is a bulletproofed vehicle. When he was visiting his bazukuru, idea if you have a grandfather at home, when you are visiting the grandfather, you want to get close, you want to sit with him, he also wants you to sit even in the middle of his legs. You know how we used to sit with the Shwenkurus. I was so shocked that at the International Youth Day, a person like of our president, who would actually feel free even to say, today I'm not even walking in this vehicle. I want to walk and bonga with this bazukuru of mine. I saw him covered in a certain vehicle, but maybe he has been. But he has been having COVID. Yeah. Maybe he fears to spread. But let's on that Manyaji.
Let's come back.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends. Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
It's a quarter to the top of the hour, only on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. It's been an amazing conversation here, and I want to say thank you so much for those that have contributed by sending text messages on all our social media platforms, 912 Cruise FM on Twitter and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. For those that are enjoying the pictures and the videos and everything that has to do with that on Cruise TV, I'm pretty sure that you've had a good time. But you can be able to listen seamlessly to the show on www.cruisefm.com/stream. So there is no excuse. No matter where you are, you can be able to follow Cruise, listen, and enjoy the best that we give you. My name is Wesige Banyaji. We're talking about what transpired in Bukedia. We had the presidential special advisor on special operations, Muhoozi Kainerugaba there, but he's also a general in the UPDF. Let me get to Mr. Tijuche Nicholas. The pictures and Muhoozi Kainerugaba being the chief guest in Bukedia. Why do you read of that?
Thank you very much. I can say Muhoozi, it's his time.
To shine.
Time to shine. But he's shining in the wrong way. That's what I can say. Most of us, we take Muhoozi as a general in our country. But right now, he's now making us think that in the next few years or months, he's going to be the vice president of this country.
What stops that? What makes it wrong?
It's okay. But because of what we are in, we have been talking about the World Bank, which is coming to Uganda. Most of the NGOs, they are going out of the Uganda. That means it is going to create a certain item like a war in our country.
Where does it come from, you man?
Anytime, any day.
Why?
Anytime. It's like we are on a time bomb in Uganda, by the way, if you don't know what is happening. Right now, not even a prophet of doom.
I'm here to understand what this gentleman is talking about.
We need to understand. We are not panicking, but we are seeing what is coming
What
in the
is
future.
wrong with General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who is the presidential advisor on special operations, addressing a gathering in Bukedia on the invitation of the Right Honorable Speaker of
Let me ask
Parliament?
you one question. Was he invited as a presidential advisor or the
Yes,
first son?
absolutely, yes.
As the presidential advisor
Yes.
on that matter, right?
Yes.
But right now, what you're already seeing is it is a political goon trying to mobilize people, trying to say that this
gentleman has
person
just called
is
General
the right
Muhoozi a
person.
political goon.
No, I'm not. I'm saying we
Okay,
are seeing
thank
like
you.
a political goon somewhere.
Oh,
We are
okay.
trying to build, not a criminal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let me bring in the person who is in the middle of things. Asima Banjisi, I'm pretty sure the Muhoozi movement is gaining good ground.
True.
And by General Muhoozi addressing the people of Bukedia, what Ugandans are really, for example, intellectuals like myself, we want to see what this gentleman is talking about. We want to see how he is able to build chemistry with the audience. We are yet to see some of that. And we know the president came out publicly and warned the General Muhoozi on those that are surrounding him who are opportunists and may be around him for the wrong reasons. How good is the Muhoozi movement now?
Like Nicholas, that one.
No. Vanyaji and our dear listeners, I need to set the record straight. One, there is no need to panic. There is no need for alarm. We all know General Muhoozi Kainerugaba is a senior presidential advisor on special operations. Two, we all know he's the first son. Three, we all know that he's still a serving UPDF officer. And under the provision of our Constitution 1995 as amended, Article 208, Clause 2, all serving UPDF officers are not supposed to participate in partisan politics. But if you've been a keen follower of our MK movement, you should realize, say, case in point in Bukedia, I didn't see General Muhoozi make any political statement or utterances. 2, as a Ugandan, he has a right of being invited to functions. 3, under his mandate as a senior presidential advisor on special operations, he has a right of addressing. No, Speaker. When you are speaking, I get no.
Do you think people don't see?
Let's be civil. When you are submitting, I listen to you.
You listen, but
and me, I'm telling you facts. I'm not speculating like you guys.
No, but Jotham is raising a very important point.
Yes.
Yeah,
you should listen to it and accommodate it.
No, but I'm telling you facts. He has a right of addressing Ugandans in his capacity as a senior presidential advisor, and there is nothing wrong with it. So, and as a Ugandan, he has a right of contesting come 2026 as long as he meets all the prerequisite qualifications, and by the time we get there, he will. Because the only thing that is barring him from contesting in active politics is honorably retiring from the army. Probably next year he will.
No, but another Banjisi cabinet is part of the executive, and it's political. And we know General Muhoozi, David Muhoozi sits in cabinet.
Yeah,
we know General
Katumba
Wamala sits in cabinet,
and they make political statements.
Yes,
under their mandate as ministers. And for your information, if you didn't know, senior presidential advisors, when it comes to government hierarchy, they are equivalent to cabinet ministers. So, under his mandate as a senior presidential advisor, he qualifies to make those statements. Then another thing that I wanted to clarify to senior counsel, the speaker and the people listening to us. These are my opinions, take them or leave them, but they are facts. They are factual. Now what will you say? Because even in Masaka, soon we are going to host him in Masaka. And what's wrong with Ugandans mobilizing themselves and inviting him to tell him as a senior presidential advisor that no, but bottom line,
let me have order.
Let's not be like babies.
Let me have order in my studio.
President, we shall wait for 2026 if you have.
No, let's not be like babies. Who doesn't have interest? You are acting like babies.
Okay.
You are a speaker.
Banjisi, calm down.
You're a speaker.
Banjisi, calm down.
I need to clarify this,
our time is very fast spent.
I gave them time. They have submitted multiple times.
Let me guide.
I need to clarify this.
Banjisi, let me guide. Alright? Conclude. I allow the two gentlemen to indulge.
Thank you so
much.
In a second,
as
I conclude, take it or leave it. All politicians have interests. Speaker, you have your personal interests. At different levels, we have personal interests, our village interests, regional interests, national, international interests. There is nothing wrong with the people joining the MK movement when they have their personal interests. Probably they will want to, in future, to contest and run after paying allegiance to the first son. And there is nothing wrong with it.
Yes.
So we shall support him, we shall mobilize for him, and at an opportune time, we shall request him to honorably retire from the army and come and join active politics.
Thank you, Banjisi.
Yeah, in the case of Robert and Wendy Deusdedit versus the Attorney General, Constitutional Petition number 19 of 2017, the Constitutional Court said, actually this year, that a serving UPDF officer who is a member, who is an MP, has the right to be appointed a minister. So, by implication, if minister and the special presidential advisor are of the same ranking, then the fact that he's a serving officer and the presidential advisor it is not unconstitutional. Because now because there's no law which stipulates that a special presidential advisor cannot be at the same time a serving presidential what?
Advisor.
Yes, yes, advisor. Then number 2, I think the World Bank has the right to withdraw its funding from a country like Uganda,
all right,
whose intent and purpose of its laws are to persecute and execute homosexual people.
Yes.
And then about our Museveni'S project, Museveni has all the rights to contest as the president of Uganda, but in the meantime, whoever comes up to seek political support from his people, if it is you or me or Bob Wine, they should not be stopped.
All right, thank you. Let me give Honorable Museveni an opportunity to wrap this up.
Thank you very much. As I conclude, we began with the suspension of World Bank's support to Uganda. If it is done, Ugandans now we have to come back to our senses. Like how I said, we have to merge ministries, departments and agencies. We have to cut administrative costs. Even I have another suggestion of merging districts. We get Greater Mbarara, this all Isinjiro, Rwampara, what and what. We get them back. We get 2 members of parliaments for 5 districts.
All right,
they can able represent us.
Thank you, Honorable
For Museveni can be a president, but at the right time. For now, we have the president who is the Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa. Let's not mix things. We are losing a lot of money in these daily banquet parties and movements you are making. Yet Ugandans do not have services. They don't have water on ground. Rwampara is suffering. They don't have a tarmac. They don't have a road equipment to work on their roads. But you spend much money every day in these MK movements instead of working for them.
Thank you, Mwesugwa, Jotham King. Thank you to Ijuche Nicholas. Thank you, Council Wenje did it. Thank you, Asima Bandits. My punchline this week, there is a case of a young baby that is going to lose their arm because a health worker made a mistake on how they placed a cannula. As a parent, look out for what those health workers are doing to your life. They are not angels and they are not God. They are prone to making mistakes. So that the mistake is detected early and it doesn't have, a lifetime changing mistake, Now this baby is going to lose their arm and life may not be the same again. But keep blessed and don't touch your dial because we have news at the top of the hour. And we have good programming. The sports roundup will be on. And we have Premier League is back. What does that mean? Sawe is here and you'll have the best that you want on commentation. My name is Wesige Banyaji. Let's meet next Saturday on the big set. May God bless you for God and my country.
The view